So let's enhance our linear regression model in machine learning. So one of the concepts in machine learning is splitting your data up. So here we have some data on the size of houses based on square feet, and then we have the prices over here. So we're storing this in an array in Python. And what is happening is we want to split the data. So what we'll use is we will use sklearn module over here and the sub module called model selection. And then we're going to import this function. So this is a function. This function exists within this module, and this module is part of sklearn. So when I hover over here, you can see this is a module. And when I do this, you can see this is a module. And when I hover over this one, what you can see is it's a function. So by using this import statement, we are importing in from this library, this function. So we're going to use that to split our data set. So this is the data set over here, and we want to split it. So we could manually split this, but why make the manual effort when you can actually use Python libraries and code that somebody else written to do this? So here we're just going to declare some variables. We had x and y, so you can see the data frame over here. X, this becomes the size, sorry, and the y becomes the price. So we got the x and y here. So we will then use these over here, so pass them in here. So you can see we're declaring a few variables. So x training set, x test. For training, we want to split the data up to train the model. And then we'll use the x test to see if our model is working correctly. And same, you need to split the x and y. So this is the x test, x train, x test, y train, y test. And then we will use this function. So you can see this function, because we imported it, it's now available in our code. It's like if we had written this function. And it takes in a few parameters. The first ones are, of course, just x and y variables over here. That's the full data set. And then we want the test size, so 20%. And then this random state basically means every time we run this code, so every time I click play, I come back to it, it will split the same record. So it made, in this case, it will split these records. So how many records have we got here? Yeah, so that's about 8%. And then 20% will be kept separate. So it's going to do that with this random state. So we won't necessarily know. We don't want any bias or, manually cheating the system. So this will automatically do it on a random number basis. And when it does that, when you add this value, every time you run this, because you don't want to keep changing your splits every time you look at your data, by adding this number 42, again, just randomly selected, you can keep the same split. So although there is randomness in it, but you can control, actually, when I relearn this code, I want the same split based on what you selected randomly previously. So if you ask the machine to give me some random numbers, and next day you come back and say, give me the same random numbers you gave me yesterday, that's what this is doing. Then we got the split of the data. So in the next section, we will look at how does this actually get processed. So this is a simple guide on how you split your data for learning, for training your model, and then what would you use it to test your model. Of course, you want to keep like some questions and answers separately. So you don't want the model to train on your test data and so on. So that's why we do the split.